Hello, BookTube. You're looking good. You lost weight? Been working out? Oh, it turns out that that mail bell was more books. So this is the absolutely positively final mail haul of the week, and it's just one thing. It's one huge heavy box. I couldn't resist opening it on camera with you. Let's see what this is. What one big box is. What is this? Oh my. Oh, goodness. It is the finished copy of A.G. Hopkins' American Empire. And this is the reason they had to send it in a box of its own, because it's enormous. Oh my, look at that. Okay. Okay, great. And here's the pub sheet. This is due at the end of the month. I'm about ready to review this thing. In fact, you can see it, right? It's right there. This big white block is this book. I have it on the launch pad, so to speak, because I didn't want February to go by without writing about it. And now I have the finished copy. Great. I don't know if I read about this to you. Many, if not most of us, think we know the history of the United States. That is, we think we do, but we're wrong. I once constructed a quiz, a 10-question quiz about American history, because a coworker of mine at a bookstore said, "Oh, you're being way too pessimistic. People know a lot more history than you think they do." And I said, "I'll come up with a 10-question quiz about American history, and you can just give it to anybody you like, informally, when I'm not around, and just see what results you get." And she said, No, you can't do that, because you'll give all sorts of weird, obscure dates that nobody could get. And I said, "I'll run the questions by you first, and you see." And I gave her 10 questions, and she mocked me. She said, "Come on, this is sarcastic. No one won't know the answers to these questions. No one will get these questions wrong. Not even one of them." So I encouraged her to test that. Well, question number 2 was, what were the two sides in the American Civil War? Question number 8 was, true or false, World War II is still going on. And for weeks, she forestalled because she was afraid of what our coworkers would answer. And then she gave the test and learned that her fears were justified. Let's see here. In American Empire, A Global History, a panoramic work of extraordinary scholarship, the eminent historian A.G. Hopkins asks us to think again. Drawing on his expertise in economic history and the imperial histories of Britain and Europe, Hopkins takes readers from the colonial era to today, outlining how, far from diverging, the United States and Western Europe followed similar trajectories, and how America's dependency on Britain and Europe extended further into the 19th century than previously acknowledged. In a sweeping narrative spanning 3 centuries, Hopkins describes how the revolt of mainland colonies was the product of a crisis that afflicted the imperial states of Europe generally, and how the history of the American Republic between 1783 and 1865 was a response not to the termination of British influence, but to its continued expansion. He traces how the creation of the U.S. industrial nation-state after the Civil War paralleled developments in Western Europe, fostered similar destabilizing influences, and found an outlet in imperialism through the acquisition of an insular empire in the Caribbean and the Pacific. And I absolutely loved the book. Absolutely loved it. Not for everybody. It's not beginner's history, as that summary probably gave you an impression. It's not... You have to know... He assumes you know quite a bit about what he's talking about. And if you do... I mean, there's nothing wrong if you don't. Everybody has to start somewhere. If you want to work your way up to complex European history, it's easy to do. It just takes time and reading. That's all. Just have to make it a priority. But when he's writing for a specific audience here, pretty much me, and he has provocations in every chapter, contentions that he's trying to prove. And I don't think all of them land, but it's an amazing book. It's an amazing book, even for the ones that don't make you think. I'm so happy to have it in a nice finished copy. That's great. Okay, well, there we go. So it's just one book, American Empire. It's 1,000 pages long, and it's certainly here in late February, it's the most impressive work of history that I've read so far. Not just in January and February, but I've been reading ahead. I read down the line. It's the most impressive one-volume big synthesis of history that I've read so far this year. An amazing work. Wow, fantastic. Okay, so that is it. That is the positively final mail haul of the week. And we'll move on from here to bleaker and barrener pastures. Thank you, Book 2.